Hello, welcome back to Desta's Home Living. So today I want us to make this famous cake called Swiss roll. So it's easy to make, and I have already prepared all the ingredients as usual. And yeah, here we have some 120 grams of sugar, and this sugar we'll divide it into two batches. The first one will be for egg whites, 50 grams, and the remaining will be 70 grams for the yolk. So here next we have 90 grams of all-purpose flour, egg whites from 5 eggs. These are egg yolks from the 5 eggs. We need them separated. I don't know if you can see this clearly. It's 1 gram of salt and 2 grams of baking powder. Next we have 50 grams of vegetable oil and 50 grams of milk. So let's get straight into preparation. We start by beating the egg yolks slightly and adding the 50 grams of sugar, and mix well and be sure that it's well combined. So we continue beating up until it becomes frothy and changes in color, as you can see in the video. And this is how you know when it's ready. You see it forms some small rings. That's how you want it. So put this aside, and next we are going to beat the egg whites. After about a minute or so, we now start adding the remaining sugar in 3 batches. So the 70 grams of sugar that was remaining, is remaining, we add it little by little in 3 batches. So that's the first batch. Continue beating, and as you can realize, we are incorporating air into the egg whites, and this will help so much for our cake to rise. There goes the second batch of sugar. Continue beating, and at this point then you may realize that it has started forming some soft peaks. So continue beating and beat well, and there goes the last batch of sugar, and we are done with the sugar now. So continue beating up until you have stiff peaks. So check again so that you don't overbeat the egg whites. The peaks are not as stiff as we want, so we need to continue beating for about a minute or so, and we're good to go. So this is what we want now. It has formed some hard stiff peaks, and we're going to stop it at this point. Next, you're going to add the yolk sugar mixture, and from this point onwards we are going to use a spatula or even just a wooden spoon to be for mixing. So we need to mix carefully so that we make sure that the air that we have incorporated into the eggs is still trapped within. As I've said earlier, it helps our cake rise well and uniformly. So now we're going to add in the flour, and the salt and the baking powder. Make sure you sieve your flour all the time you are baking. At times there are hard lumps that form within the flour. so it's good we sieve the flour. So continue folding in the flour carefully, yeah, and slowly up until there's no more dry flour that you can spot. Now at this point you're going to add in the oil and the milk, and we start by combining the milk and the oil together with some little butter. Combine that first, yeah, and later adding it to the rest of the batter for proper mixing. So all this time we are mixing, remember the point, or rather the idea is to retain the air within the batter. So put that at the back of your mind and don't forget. So now this one is well combined. We want to now put it into the rest of the batter, yeah. This way it combines well. At this point you may want to preheat your oven to 170 degrees Celsius at 40 minutes. But once you place your cake in, then you reduce the time and bake the cake for about 12 to 15 minutes. So again, make sure everything is well combined, and at this point we are ready to pour the batter into the baking tray. I have lined this one with the grease paper, but if you cannot access or get a grease paper, then you can just smear some oil or butter onto your pan and sprinkle some little all-purpose flour, and that will act well. So the batter is ready and I'm going to place it into the oven. Now our cake is ready, and I have left it to cool a bit for about 15 to 20 minutes, and I'm now peeling off the grease paper. So as you do it, please do it carefully so that it comes off well. And I'm going to trim off the edges of the cake on all the 4 sides. And on one of the sides, we're going to slice it or trim it in a slanted manner, yeah, because that is the side. Okay, this is the side. So this is the side that is going to act as the base of the Swiss roll, of the roll. So now I'm going to flip it over and change it onto the grease paper, and again flip it over because we need to apply on some jam. I used a mixed fruit jam, but you can as well use either frosting or honey. So as you can see here, I'm trying to make some shallow incisions, which I later realized that they went so deep. But as you make yours, please make them shallow, so that as I start folding the cake, then it starts off well and folds well. So I'm now going to apply some jam in a uniform manner. Try and apply in a uniform manner and apply all over, yeah. and don't apply too much, because as you roll then it will keep squeezing out of the sides of the cake, and we don't want that. So I just used the back of a spoon and it really does a nice job. So as you can see here, I have applied the jam well, and I am using the grease paper to start folding, or rather rolling off our cake. Yeah, so at this point you need to do it carefully and make sure that it is tight enough as you roll it, but again carefully that it doesn't overstretch and tear at the surface. So I'm done with rolling, and I'm going to leave it rolled in this grease paper and tape it at the ends. Yeah, because we need this one to be in the fridge for about an hour or so for it to become more compact, and yeah, just cool. So here it is 1 hour later, and indeed it is quite compact. As you can see here, it had started creating cracks at the surface, but anyway, it's okay. So I'm trimming off the ends, yeah, just for a better look, because it wasn't as uniform, but it's still okay. Yeah, so you may slice as desired. Yeah, so I sliced these ones into like 2 inches thick rolls, and this one you may take it with tea or milk or just as a snack. It is so delicious, it is super moist, and I decided to dust mine with some icing sugar and cinnamon powder, so just to add on to the flavor. I love the flavor and taste of cinnamon. So there we go, our cinnamon rolls are ready, and they're so delicious. So that's it for today, guys. Thank you so much as always for watching my video, and if you're new here, please subscribe to my channel, and see you in my next video. Bye.